there, it's Andy Parks from the Washington Times. Stay tuned, my weekend review is coming up. But first, I want to remind you that as a listener to my podcast, you qualify to receive a 50% discount on an annual digital subscription to the Washington Times. And all you have to do is go to washingtontimes.com/Andy. That's washingtontimes.com/ANDY. All right, here we go. Once again, my twisted look on the news of the week. Shall we begin with some good news? Yes. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has officially ended all local pandemic-related restrictions effective immediately. And he's also banned vaccine passports. The left, of course, is going bonkers over it. The president, not happy, he put his 2 mask on to talk to a TV camera about it. I'm still laughing about him doing just that at the virtual summit of world leaders a couple of weeks ago. He was the only one wearing a mask and the only one without his country's flag in the background. Pitiful. Just absolutely pitiful. DeSantis brought up a good point in saying asking vaccinated people to continue wearing masks undermines confidence in the coronavirus vaccines. Yes, of course it does. But the Democrats want to follow the science until they don't like the science they hear from the scientific community. Oh, man. You just can't make it up. Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina is in the news. He gave the Republican response to President Sleepy Joe's address to the left last week in a joint session of Congress. And believe me, they look like they have been smoking joints. Bunch of lefty idiots sitting there fully vaccinated with mask on, looking stupid and hanging on every word the president mumbled. Meanwhile, Senator Scott, a black man, countered the president by saying America wasn't a racist country. Oh, my God. The left went totally nuts, calling Scott an Uncle Tom, Jim Crow, a token, a tap dancer. And that's within 5 minutes of Scott's speech. How dare a black man and a U.S. senator actually be a conservative? To them, this is outrageous. Why, even Joy Behar lectured Scott on America's history of racism. Late-night idiot Jimmy Kimmel also claimed Tim Scott was out of touch. I don't know, is it just me, or is it funny that 2 white show business buffoons would be lecturing a black guy on racism, especially 2 people who had performed in blackface? Folks, there is no end to the hypocrisy when it comes to the mentally challenged Democrats. But it is an illness. I'm convinced of that, really. You've heard me say it before, but I am. Meanwhile, some whack job named Tiffany Cross over at MSLSD, or MSNBC, whatever it is, claimed Tim Scott does not represent any constituency other than a small number of sleepy, slow-witted sufferers of the Stockholm Syndrome. Oh, let me add that to the list of deplorables and Neanderthals that liberals like to use for conservatives. Thanks to Tiffany and other losers like her, the Democrats will suffer devastating losses in the next election. Because real Americans are sick of the constant barrage of left-wing garbage thrown at them every day by radicals in politics and in the media. I, for one, can't wait for the 2022 election. Speaking of idiots, Rhino Governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan, has insulted the hardworking people of Maryland once again by actually giving $100 to state employees that get vaccinated. Yes, another $5 million of our tax dollars going to state employees thanks to Governor and never President Larry Hogan. Now, if you combine this with the $74.1 million program he submitted for the $1,000 bonuses to state employees and the reckless use of $9 million of taxpayer money on faulty COVID tests back at the beginning of the pandemic, and you have a typical Democrat wasting money and abusing power. He is definitely not a conservative Republican. And you know, it's truly amazing that Marylanders outside of the state government who suffered greatly under his COVID restrictions get nothing, while those who never lost a state paycheck during the crisis get bonuses? Are you kidding? Not to be outdone, however, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. She proved beyond reasonable doubt that she, too, is mentally challenged, like all Democrats. She's banned dancing at weddings. Yes, after placing a cap on the number of attendees, she now says there will be no dancing allowed. Her claim is that this will provide an extra layer of safety because when people dance, they tend to touch or get close to one another. Will someone please tell these liberal jackasses to stop the insanity? Oh, and already weddings are being canceled in the district, and many will move to friendlier venues outside of D.C. Way to go, Muriel. Hurt your own local businesses again. So stupid. Oh, and showing there's no shortage of dummies in local politics, Virginia Democrat and Governor Ralph Blackface Northam is excited because 69,000 former prisoners who committed felonies are now preparing to vote. Yes, Virginia is among the states that have laws barring convicted felons from voting indefinitely unless the governor intervenes. So Governor Blackface has intervened and given the crooks a chance to vote or, in some cases, run for office or to commit other felonies. No worries. They're not coming to his house. CNN's Don Lemon threw a hissy fit over the comments by former Senator and now CNN colleague Rick Santorum on the Fredo Cuomo show. Lemon was watching the interview from his office when Santorum commented on the founding of the country and Native American Lives Matter. Lemon came on with Cuomo to promote his show and said, "I'm breathing heavy right now." He was visibly shaken by Santorum's opinion. You see, the left will not allow an opinion unless it's in line with their opinion. It's the new America. Lemon later went home to cry on his boyfriend's shoulder, I'm sure. Meanwhile, a juror in the Derek Chauvin murder trial was photographed wearing a "Get Your Knee Off My Neck" t-shirt back before the trial began. The juror has been identified as 31-year-old Brandon Mitchell. He was also wearing a Black Lives Matter hat. Now, as you know, Chauvin was convicted on all 3 counts and was sent off to jail awaiting sentencing, which is probably going to equate to a life sentence behind bars. But this could be a situation where the verdict could be overturned because the juror lied when asked about participating in any demonstrations against police brutality after George Floyd's death. Impartial? No. But he's a Democrat. Rules don't apply. Nothing to see here. I mean, come on. Joe Biden's climate clown, John Kerry, is back in the news. It seems that Mr. Clean Energy and his wife recently sold off stakes in oil and energy companies. Oops, guess he forgot about the ethics pledge he signed, barring him from participating in specific policy matters that would create a conflict of interest with former clients and employers. Chuck Grassley, ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, wants some answers, and he's asked the Secretary of State to get involved. But, of course, nothing to see here. Democrats at work. No rules for them. You watch. This will simply fade away. A Chinese rocket will make an uncontrolled re-entry next week. Like most Chinese products, it's cheap and unreliable. This 100-foot-long rocket was used to propel the Chinese space station into orbit last week. Where the rocket lands is anyone's guess. Right now, the rocket is in a 90-minute orbit. It will be one of the largest uncontrolled re-entries ever. Good luck, and look up a lot next week, okay? Yeah, it's only about 22 tons. I can see Fauci out there right now with a helmet on. Everybody must wear a helmet and a mask. Wear a mask and a helmet. Oh, my. And finally this week, Bill and Melinda Gates are divorcing after 27 years of marriage. The Microsoft guru and his wife made the announcement to the public on Monday, and then they asked for privacy. What? You know, why do you go public if you want privacy? You know, for a genius, Bill, you're not very smart. I don't know about you folks, but I'm sure your life will be terribly affected by this announcement. But keep it private. Thanks for joining me today, and remember to receive a 50% discount on an annual digital subscription to the Washington Times. Go to washingtontimes.com/Andy. You'll get 24/7 digital access to the Washington Times at 50% off. Again, go to washingtontimes.com/ANDY. I'm Andy Parks. Have a great day.